Hello, this is Gene. I want to talk about some of the things that's happened in the news recently. I think I'll talk a little bit about the Trump, um, the Paris Accord, and give my view on Kathy Griffin. Let me start with her. Today, it is Friday, June 2nd, so we're a couple days after the event when you know what she did. I don't need, most people know what she did, showing a severed head of the president. Um, Today, she had a press conference with a lawyer saying that the president and I don't know, other people are bullying her because of what she did. Now, clearly, I'm all about free speech. It is protected and always should be protected. Um, but what gets me upset about stuff like this, she apologized after about it. Now, of course, she was only apologizing because the blowback was so intense for what she did. The truth is, she never would have apologized if she didn't have that. Um, she all of a sudden had to defend herself so she wouldn't lose ever money. It's strange how in this country someone with really no talent has a net worth probably 20 times more than I'll ever have in my lifetime, and but that's just how we are in this country. What we give people money for. But so basically, she's playing the victim, which it's. I thought this was must be another like another satire type of thing that she's doing, because there's no way that we would ever look at her as a victim in this circumstance. Um, but it brings me back to a lot of other issues I've said before on my channel, that how can anybody take women seriously? And this is the reason why most men, whether they want to admit it or not, never can deep down respect women, because they know in the back of the mind that women will use this in any type of circumstances to be the victim. The government already gives them that ability by being on welfare when they have kids, and the welfare state comes in and it becomes the daddy in that situation. So they always complain. They can always be the victim no matter what. And in this scenario, she's the one who took the video or the photo shoot. There's her talking to the cameraman saying, "Yeah, it's probably going to cost a lot of stink when I do this," and she thinks she's the victim in this. And then we find out back in December of 2016, she said that maybe she was being comedic here, but she said she's going to go after Barron back then. So I just it's one of these things that I don't want to continually go down this rabbit hole when it comes to women and female nature. But no man would ever have done this. No man, if he did something like this, would not go in and have a lawyer there saying that he's the victim. He would say, you know what, I screwed it up and I'll take responsibility and get on with the rest of his life. This is what women do. And I don't know, I guess we allow this to happen. um, so, it's a very small thing, but, she said something and had an image up there that apparently his son saw, and he was very distressed by it, as any son would be if they saw a picture. If my son saw pictures of me like that, I'm sure they'd be distressed. The fact that she has I don't think she's ever even apologized to Barron about it at all. She wants to be the victim in this, and it's the society today that allows it. That they think it's a good idea that I'm going to go out and claim this victimhood. Now, at least most of the people on Twitter are panning her for what she did today, so that's good. Hopefully, this will just be another way to just bury her career. So, I do have to say that in the old days, I kind of like some of the things that she did, but she's like the female version of like Andrew Dice Clay. He's funny to watch, and after about the 3 or 4 times, it gets old, and this is how she is with what she does now too. And she's like Banana and all these other people that they just are just so into themselves so much. Oh, there's some lightning there. Finally got some rain here in Florida. But anyway, also I am very happy that we have exited from the Paris Accords. I think that it was another way that the rest of the world was, we were like their hostage, and people just take our money, the people here that actually work, the taxpayers' money, and giving it to other countries under the guise of climate change, when it's really all it was is just to give more money to the third world. And we already do that. We already are the most, what's the word? I can't say the word. The countries, the United States sends more to any other country in the world when it comes to helping third world countries. So I'm glad he did it. And but then of course everybody around here is, or people on TV are trying to say that he's now we're like at the bottom of the barrel, that we're not the leader in the world because of this. It's funny that China and India doesn't have to do anything with their emissions, but we have to. And their population in China is about 4 times more than us. Same way in India. India isn't at the same doesn't have as many factories, I guess, but they're getting there. And China is they're the biggest producers in the world, and nowhere in that agreement do they have to do anything. We would have to do it, and then at the same time, we're the ones going to give all that money to everybody else. So, this is obviously, I think it's a good thing for Trump. He hasn't had a lot of good days in the last couple of 2 weeks, but this was a good day. Yesterday was a good day when he said he wasn't going to do it, and all the I know people who watched Tucker Carlson, the guy from Miami who's a mayor down there. He asked Carlson said the same thing. Why are we going to stay in this deal if China doesn't do anything and India doesn't do anything? And the guy never responded to that question. He asked him 4 or 5 times, and he never did. He started saying that basically the south part of Florida is going to be underwater because of climate change. I think that's what Gore said 20 years ago. And still, I live less than a mile from the water here. There's been some erosion, but we've had no sea level changes. But anyway, I'm all for finding better ways to, with electricity or how it gets to the house. In Florida, because normally we have every day is sunny, we probably should have every new roof ever put in. Every new house should probably have that. As far as the shingles should be solar. Parts of the country that it's wide open should have windmills and should have solar stuff. But people forget how much oil is ingrained into our life. Not just what we put in the cars, but past plastics are from petroleum. Basically, your iPhone, the little plastic stuff, comes from petroleum. And we have, over the years, have got better and better about making sure no shit gets into our atmosphere. Back in the 70s, we didn't do so well, and all of a sudden we find out that there was a hole in the ozone, and we kind of changed things. I don't, when it comes to climate science, it's all agenda driven. I think that it's not worth it for the United States under this current deal to be in. I have no problem trying to do things better and be more efficient and whatever it would be that we can save the country or the world at large. But this is another thing. It's clearly a globalist thing, and Trump was elected as America First, and although some of the things he's done recently I don't necessarily like, I don't like how he's still very beholden to the state. So that's just my own issues, because I don't trust Israel, and I don't trust the Jewish state when it comes to that. So that's really all I had to talk about. I think it's a pretty young or short video. Maybe I could think of something here before I sign off. I watched the game last night. It wasn't very good to see. I'll talk about that. Because the NBA Finals started last night. And there was a time in my life that I was a big fan of the NBA. And we've had last couple of weeks we talking about is LeBron as good as Michael Jordan, and I'm just I don't think Michael Jordan is the greatest of all time. Okay, there were a long time that I thought he was, or I thought maybe he was a little bit better than some of the other guys I think should be recognized as much. I was a Celtic fan when I grew up before Bird got there, before people say I only liked him because they had more white people on it back in the 60s or 70s when they beat Phoenix. That's when I first started watching basketball on pro basketball. And back then, they didn't even show it to you live. You had to watch it. It was tape delay. It was crazy back then. And I was watching like at 3 or like 12 o'clock at night. So I just kind of like their uniforms and the green and all that. I just like that. So I like that, and I like the history that they have. Most of the teams I support, other than the ones where I was born. I was born in St. Louis, so I'm a Cardinal fan. But like Manchester United, the Celtics, I like the history of the club, and I like teams that have that. But when I kept hearing about how they're kind of comparing LeBron, or maybe saying LeBron is better than Jordan, I don't think that Jordan's the best. I think that Magic Johnson is. I think that Magic Johnson is very similar to LeBron. The only difference is that LeBron is more athletic. But I just think that Magic was the greatest of all time. And when Bird said he was, I will just say that he believed that. Because I think in his prime, without the injuries, those two were the best ever, Magic and Bird. And I can't really equate what's going on right now. In most states or most sports, you can say as you go 20 or 30 years, the team or the players would be better, especially in football. Obviously, they're bigger and stronger and faster. You would assume that, as much as I'm a Dolphin fan too, in the year they went 17-0, they couldn't deal with any teams right now because their biggest guys were like 230 back then, and they were mostly white. So I don't think they could deal with it. But I think they're the greatest team in NFL history. But man to man, they couldn't deal with probably a college team at this point because everything's got so huge in the last 30 years when it comes to that. But basketball, it's not really like that. When I'm not looking back to when Cousy played, or before Russell and all that, before it was really integrated. But they were, with set shots and stuff. Those guys couldn't deal so much with the athletic play that we have right now. But certainly, Magic would destroy the league. So would Bird. Bird would he would. They look at what Westbrook has done this year. Bird would have that probably for 10 years in a row. He was unstoppable. Nobody could, and the guy had no athletic ability at all. But the game, how he knew the game, he was the best shooter ever. As good as Seth is on his day, there is really no comparison. You just need to go on. Those of you who are younger, who didn't see them play live, I just go on YouTube and watch. There's condensed videos of during the finals between the Bird against the Celtics against the Lakers, the 3 times that they went to the finals, and just to see the teams and then compare them to what we have right now. The only team that's even close to those teams is Golden State, but Golden State doesn't have the physical and nastiness that both Lakers and Celtics had. The Lakers had to do it because the Celtics punched them in the mouth several times, and they woke up and they got better for it, and that's how they won a couple times against them. So no, Jordan is not the greatest. The greatest is until Larry Bird changed his mind. He says it's been Magic Johnson, and I believe him. And in my opinion, if I put them all on the same floor, Larry Bird would start over LeBron at this small forward. Unless you're going to put him back there with Jordan in the guards, I don't think that LeBron even gets in my top 5. So he's a great player for this time. and he could probably win. They might win this championship. Doesn't really matter at this point. But I just thought I'd talk about that too. If you guys have anything you want me to talk about, I know I don't have a whole lot of people on here, but if there's something you want me to talk about or get my opinion on, let me know. Also, I think I'll put in my about stuff, where my Twitter is, all that. If you want to, see what I'm up to and stuff that I'm really into. I support a lot of the alt-right issues. Not all of them. I'm in between what Gavin McInnes says is being a Western chauvinist or being an alt-right and ethno-nationalist. I'm like in between those two. I'm about 90% right with Gavin, and about 75% where the alt-right people want to be. And when I talk about alt-right, I'm talking about like the guys that are on Red Iced or Free, for whatever name is. Like I guess it's between the alt-right and alt-right, whatever. I just don't think the United States will ever have a place that it's going to be a truly ethno state. And I don't think we really need that in the United States. What we need to do is just get our immigration shit right and stop getting people from the third world coming in here and messing up with the gene pool, and which hurts us when it comes to our intelligence. It does. That's why kids are not. And there are a lot of reasons why we're not doing well in school, but a lot of it is the fact that I don't really want to get into this, but maybe I will in another video. So I'll just leave it there. So again, thanks for watching. I'm going to be out for a little bit. We're going up to the mountains for a week. Hopefully, depending on how the Wi-Fi issue is there, I might do something up there. Something comes out in the news, I'll talk about it. Like I said, if you have anything you want me to talk about, I'll do it. And please, if you actually sat here for 17 minutes and listened to me just ramble on, please share this stuff, and so we can get it out. Oh, let me talk about one more thing. See, this is what happens when I start doing this. I had a problem. Well, I didn't have a problem. I upgraded my phone yesterday, and my son also had a problem with his. So it's been a while since we did it, so I went in there and I tried to red pill the guy that was selling us the phones. And my son was saying after we were done, he said he probably thinks you're racist. That's like, and I looked at my son. I said, "Do you think anything I said there was racist?" And he said, "Well, there's other black people in there." I said, "And did anybody come over and say what I said was racist?" I mean, I don't look like I'm somebody who will go out and kill anybody. I mean, I was just talking about what's happening in the United States, and I think I actually, when I started talking, he didn't look at I think he understood, or at least he probably seen this, and maybe he's not at that point, but he's probably about in late 20s. So I think guys my age need to do this, and I do it I don't care what color you are. If you want to talk to me and we get to that subject, I'm going to tell you my beliefs on it. And I can say, I think of the 20 or 30 people I talked to about this, I've only had one person just said that's bullshit that I'm talking about. Everybody else understands what I'm talking about. They don't want to talk about it because they know that they get in trouble, if they get in trouble by saying it. I have nothing that can really hurt me. I've been on disability. I get money from my military retirement. I get stuff from the VA. I get stuff from Social Security. I'm a leech, really, when it comes to federal government. I mean, I don't like it. Obviously, I earned my retirement and my VA stuff. I'd rather be working. I have a lot more money in my 401. But I'm doing well. My kids are doing well. Health-wise, hit and miss. But I just think my guys that are my age, in the 50s, late 40s, who've seen life, been around the world, seen Europe when it was unbelievably one of the greatest places in the world, and now it's just a horror when you see it. My son went to France a couple years ago, and he told me what was going on there, and I said, that's not the France that I remember. It's not the Welsh that I remember, England that I remember. Anyway, I'm just rambling now. So please, if you have anything to talk about, let me know. We'll talk about it, and we'll see if we can get this channel to a different level. You get past, get to like 1,000 subscribers, and maybe start doing some Skyping or something. Anyway, thanks you for watching. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.